on, you guys? It's your boy, Alex West Collects here, bringing you the most in-depth action figure reviews here on YouTube. And today we have something very special. We have an early sneak peek of the brand new Mattel Creations Coliseum Collection Ultimate Edition George the Animal Steele and Roddy Piper. This will be available only at Mattel Creations on December 7th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully you guys get on there and be able to score this. This should be shipping, I think, fairly soon. I don't believe there's going to be like a pre-order, just like the retro figures have been in the past, and some of the other Coliseum Collection Ultimate figures. They should ship fairly quickly after ordering, so hopefully you will have these in hand before the holidays. But a huge thank you to the Mattel team for sending this early sample for me to review for you guys and give you a first-hand look at what these figures are all about. So again, they are not available yet. As of this recording, they will be available on December 7th, so go on Mattel Creations and grab your set there. I personally was looking forward to ordering multiples of these figures. George the Animal Steele, I'll be honest, I wanted it for my collection. I felt like it looked pretty cool, but the star of the set is Roddy Piper, and I feel like that's kind of been carried over with each Ultimate or Coliseum Collection set. So you had Hulk Hogan versus Terry Funk, two amazing megastars, but obviously there's one that's, I feel like, a little obvious. Hulk Hogan, I mean, the icon of wrestling, right? Way bigger of a name than Terry Funk during, mainstream. I guess you can argue who's the bigger star with Jake the Snake versus Rick Rude, but I think Jake is slightly more elevated star. Same here. You're getting, a really top-tier talent, and then someone who may not have gotten a single card release, so that's a great thing about this Coliseum Collection. It is a little something for everyone, but the packaging is pretty much the same that you would see with the other figures. You do get this nice side profile here of George the Animal Steele and Roddy Piper with the WWE logo. Flipping onto whatever the front or the back, you get the image of Piper on one side with the Ultimate logo. This looks so nice and clean. I love the Coliseum Collection. The packaging just pops. You'll see the Ultimate Edition logo with Mattel Creations here on the top. On the back, you get the image of George the Animal Steele taking a bite out of that turnbuckle. On the top, it says, just when they think they got the answers, I changed the questions. And if there's anything on the bottom, looks like just to be the barcode, so nothing on there. This actually does come packed in a brown shipper. It does have the same thing as the Cody Rhodes cue, the dramatic entrance music, so if you guys were curious. But this is a slip box. It does just, open by kind of peeling this tab here, which always gives me trouble trying to do this. So hopefully, okay, it's not too bad. You'll support this, and look at the detail. They got the WWE logo on here, Mattel Creations. Just love that. And you open up the side, you'll see Roddy Piper versus George the Animal Steele. Just so clean. And on the top, we're going to have Piper first, and look how awesome that looks in the box, man. I love this in between here. They give you this little, back carding to separate them. That was a nice touch. You can see on the back, this has followed suit with all the Coliseum Collection Ultimates. More of like that backdrop interview set. And on the bottom, you'll have George Steele. We'll get him out. We'll take a close look at these the actual carded figures, but I want to look on the inside of the box, and we'll bring these guys out and go a little more in-depth, but let's get them out of the way. Again, the packaging is so many different little Easter eggs in here. You'll see a bunch of the crowd here. You have the image of mine. You got a Hot Rod. I like how they customized it. Time to Pay the Piper. This looks pretty cool. Obviously, you see some of the Mattel team on here, so that is a nice homage to them. And this box is really nice if you guys want to say mock collectors, but let's come back. We'll get all set up and look at the carded figures. So cleaning all of that messing and all that cardboard out of the way, we have the carded images of your Coliseum Collection Ultimate Piper and George the Animal Steele. I'll be honest, when I first started collecting, I was not the biggest mock guy. I always thought, why do people collect things mint on box? And honestly, as my collection has grown, I think I've been really collecting seriously. I want to say over 10 years. Has it been maybe 2009-ish? I kind of, believe it or not, what really got me into it was obviously the classic superstars. Then it was really the Jakks TNA line, and eventually I made the switch to Mattel. Just a little side story there, but now that I see these more specially designed packaging, it just makes me have such an appreciation for things on card. And this just has such a nostalgic feel. I feel like I say this with every Coliseum Collection. So this is Series 3 we're taking a look at. And I feel like every time it doesn't get old. Just look at this blue carding. It just pops so nicely. You see these vintage images of Piper and George the Animal Steele here. Just really, it's breathtaking. Mattel has done such a great job with this line. I wish we could get more, but then it gets to a point where if they're pumping out too much, does it kind of kill that nostalgia factor? But this really does have it with this set. Even to the point of the Ultimate logo here, kind of translucent looking, a little silver on the packaging with the nameplates underneath. You do have these kind of stands where they're have the names of Roddy Piper and George the Animal Steele. It's like a cardboard elevated box with their accessories are hidden. Just, it's so nicely done and designed. But I'll flip the back. You can see the little carding here, the other figures that we have gotten. So don't forget that Sergeant Slaughter San Diego Comic-Con exclusive was also on a very similar card. So if you are keeping them in on card, you definitely, I guess technically both Slaughters, the black card and the blue card version. But you'll see the awesome nameplate cutout. So I bought a bunch of Hogans and actually cut this out and saved it for my display. Just kind of like a nostalgic feel. I remember collecting G.I. Joes and cutting a lot of these cardings out. So, but you got the images of all the other figures that we've gotten so far. Don't forget, Series 4 is going to include the Heart Foundation. Curious to see who else is coming in the line. But for you guys who are new to this, let's just, before we, transition, the actual cards, they just slip out from the back. Let's speak to that a little bit. Again, you can see the beautiful thick carding. It is nice. But if you are a guy who wants to take them out, mess around with them, there are slots in the back here where you can kind of just slide it right out, take your figure out, take your accessories out, and you can pour them back in and leave a mint on carding. But, let's jump to the review. We're going to take a look at all these figures and see what they're all about. So up first, we're going to take a look at George the Animal Steele, and I absolutely love this little packaging here to house your accessories. So you'll see it is a cardboard like box. It does just open up, and you have all the other accessories that are included, all the interchangeable hands and heads. You have mine in here. There is his cloth shirt on the bottom as well. You will see the turnbuckle that they did include to have him with the effect of him chewing the turnbuckle. But these little pieces of how they poured the accessories are great. And we'll jump through each real quick. So as far as hands, we'll remove them. You do get these open hands here for George the Animal Steele. You also do get a set of mic open holding hands over here. And the figure itself comes with, I don't know if these are new or they kind of remind me of the Cameron Grimes, like, money holding hands. That's what it could be, but some different gesturing hands for George the Animal Steele that comes on. I do like it. I'm not sure if it's new or not. You do get 2 additional head sculpts. So we'll kind of just compare them here on camera. So you got more with his tongue out to the side here with the green tongue. You got more of a screaming scan that comes on the figure, and then more with it kind of just somewhat his tongue in his mouth. All look pretty good likeness. I'll be honest, George the Animal Steele was before my time, but my aunts and uncles always used to go tell me stories of how my grandpa would take him to the garden and they would see George the Animal Steele, and he was one of their favorites. He would be chewing on the turnbuckle, so definitely a WWE legend. I'll be honest, I've always slept on his figures. Like, I believe he's had 2 other elites. I don't know if it was the Legends line or what, or they were Target exclusive, but I just never had the urge to get them. I was collecting differently at the time when they were released. My collecting game has definitely stepped up. It's a little different, and now I'm a completist for the Ultimate Edition, so I'm happy to have them in my collection. So I don't have any of the elites to compare, but we definitely have seen mine before. That's his little stuffed animal here. We'll take a quick close-up at that, and you can see it does have some nice coloring, a little bit of a gray. It looks like it would be a little plush. It is articulated. Mine does have a little bit of some paint splotchage here, but it looks like I'll probably peel that off with my thumbnail. The arms do move pretty nicely all the way around. The head does not, but you'll see it does look pretty good for something so small. I really do like the detailing on it. Underneath that, he does come with this t-shirt package underneath the plastic shell. You'll see decent fabric to it. I feel like it's similar to what we've seen in the past. Definitely feels like the newer Mattel fabric, which we will definitely get on the figure as we go in the video. And the turnbuckle here is packed pretty good, so we'll remove it from the packaging and take a look. So I don't know if this is actually supposed to go on your ultimate rings or how it's designed. I'm curious to see that, because obviously this is my first look at it with you guys. So here is the turnbuckle. You do see the little clasp in the back. I guess you would technically just kind of slide it through, and it looks like there's an opening where you can kind of just pull out the cotton. I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably going to store this away and keep it with my accessories. But if you guys want to see how that looks pretty awesome. I do like, that's a nice touch. That's something different. That's very specific to this character. I'm glad Mattel was able to kind of get that in with this set. Let's take a look at his at the actual figure. That hair looks so realistic. I know a lot of people say, oh, let's go with flocked hair. I think that's a horrible choice for a figure. I just never like the look of it, but this is penciled on or really printed on. Really nice, man. That is very authentic. I love the torso for him. He's got a bigger gut with kind of the big man boobs here. You can see the hair on his shoulders. The obviously double jointed pinless arms. The legs are not pinless. I'm going to point that out now. But really like it. Look at the back, man. That is one hairy dude. You can take a look at the other arm as well. As far as his gear, you get your traditional black and red. You got the red stripe going down here on the side. You do have the shorter red boots here, kind of like a mid-cut. Does have the toe articulation, nice white laces on here as well. He does have the drop-down hips if you guys are curious about articulation. We will go through that real quick too. Let's zoom out. The figure looks great. I mean, articulation-wise, the head fully rotates. You do get some nice movement with the butterfly joints. I will say, I mean, aesthetically, maybe not the best looking, but I feel like Mattel's butterfly joints are the best in the game as far as general retail figures. I think they're better than Marvel Legends. I was playing with a bunch of the Spider-Man figures, and I just feel like you get a little more range of motion with these figures. I really do dig it. There is a bicep cut here as well. The shoulder obviously does hinge out. It is a little stiff. Fully rotates. You get the bicep cut. Double jointed elbows here. You get some wrist articulation. It does hinge up and down. You do get this diaphragm joint here where you can move him side to side. There is waist swivel as well. You got the drop down hips. He can kick up about that high. He does have the double jointed pinless knees here. There is a boot cut. You do have a toe articulation. The foot does kind of hinge. I don't really like to mess with it. I feel like once you loosen those up, they get really loose. But there is obviously a hinge, no little ankle rocker on the side. If you want to see how much of the splits he can do, about that much. And for you guys who are always asking, I believe he's on the ball joint. So if you guys wanted to customize him up or do some other fix-ups, that is definitely an option for you too. Pairing George with the rest of his accessories, I will point out these hands were genius to include. I really like the way they look. Holding mine in his hands, you can have it where he's kind of hugging him or holding him up or holding him by the arm. So definitely a plus with these interchangeable hands here. As far as the shirt, it does look really nice. Fits him pretty good. It does tend to ride up a little bit when you move it. It is a little snug, you can see on the back. I couldn't quite line it up perfectly, but it does the job. And I want to swap the head on the figure body. So this is the head that came with the figure. We have the more open mouth with the tongue in scan, and more of the closed mouth scan with just a little bit of that green tongue peeking through underneath. And if you want to get some cool dynamic poses of him chewing on this turnbuckle, I think this head would work perfectly. You could have him just kind of gnawing on it, but all in all, really love everything that has been included with George the Animal Steele here. Next up, we're taking a look at Rowdy Roddy Piper, and just like George the Animal Steele, you do get your little cardboard stand here underneath the figure. It does have the accessories included. You will just kind of open it here, and you will see underneath you get a plethora of interchangeable hands and accessories, as well as a microphone. So we'll pop all these out while we are doing this review here for you guys. So hands, you will see you get 2 open hands. You get 2 finger point hands, a set of mic open holding hands with the fisted hands on the figure, as well as 2 interchangeable heads. You do get this throwback microphone to have included with your Piper. So we will jump through all these accessories. Let's take a look at the figure itself. You can see the nice hot rod shirt. I'll be honest, someone on Instagram pointed this out and I completely missed it. He does not have the ringers around his neck and the sleeves here. I believe the answer to that is the LJN did not have it, so maybe that's the route they went. I wish they would have included it maybe as an extra, or maybe I personally just like the look of the ring, the little rings around the shirt itself, but it is what it is. You do get a nice cloth fitted hot rod shirt. It is plain white. You will see the nice kind of pattern kilt that he is included with. I will get a quick close-up. The belt looks like it's a free-floating piece here. I believe that's new. For the most part, we've either gotten those ugly molded kilts that never close, or we've gotten it was like a cloth belt that you'd Velcro on, but they actually went with a plastic molded belt. It looks really nice. Even the kilt, it feels really nice and premium. I believe it ports open here in the front. Take a look at that. And there is Velcro here on the side, just like any other Piper figure. We'll remove that. You will see the white t-shirt on underneath, showing his blue trunk. So you do get the smiling kind of head sculpt here. I don't know if my eye looks a little wonky, if it just maybe was printed a little weird, or I don't know, just this eye here looks a little smaller than it probably should be. Take a quick look. What do you guys think, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just the way it was sculpted, or maybe it was the print. But you do get 2 additional heads. We will pop them out. You get like the cocky kind of smirk on the left here. And on the right, we have this screaming scan. I believe this is the same head sculpt that came with that boxing Piper Mr. T 2-pack. This, I believe, is a new sculpt. I believe these 2 here in the middle on the left are new. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've gotten so many figures, it's hard to keep track of. But let's actually pull Piper back. And I want to get a quick look at like a roundabout of this head sculpt. As Piper goes down, we'll just hold him up down for now. But here's the screaming scan. I do like the likeness. Again, you can see the sculpt in the hair. It looks really good. Nice kind of brown paint to it. I believe we've seen this one before. This is the money one. I don't know. This is the one I picture him like maybe feuding with Hulk and Mr. T, maybe WrestleMania 1-ish time. Kind of cocky side smirk. I believe this just looks a lot really authentic. It's like Piper's here in my hand. Don't forget, we're getting the Monday Night Wars Ultimate, which is another work of art. And here is the other scan. I don't know. Something just looks a little off. I hope it's just mine, but I believe, I think all of these look just a tad better. But the good thing is you have options with the Ultimate line. So let me know down in the comments which you like best. But let's move on. We will remove the shirt as I drop these heads out of my hands here. It does Velcro on in the back, which I prefer, I think, for this instead of that stretchy material. And you will see this Piper just looks so clean, man. We'll get the shirt off. He's got his blue trunks on underneath with the blue knee pads. You get the socks coming through, RP on the actual boots. I absolutely love it. He's got the white wrist tape. He does have the pin legs, man. I'm a little disappointed. I feel like this far in the game, I don't know if that's a 2024 feature that's coming where all the elites and ultimates will be pinless, but he does have pin legs, unfortunately. We will do a quick articulation of the head. Again, we'll fully rotate. You do get the butterfly joints. The arms fully go out. A little stiff on mine. You do have the bicep cut here. Double jointed elbows. The wrist does turn and hinge just like George the Animal Steele. He does have the drop down hips. He does kick up about that high. Oh, man, sometimes I really feel like I'm going to break these, man. I got to be careful. He does do the splits about that far, so good range of motion. As far as the torso, you get the diaphragm joint up here. There is a little waist swivel. Mine's a little stiff. I feel like it's catching a little bit when you turn it, so be a little careful. And there goes those drop-down hips. He does have the double-jointed knees. There is a boot cut as well. He does have the toe articulation. There is an ankle hinge as well, and a little bit of rotation. So, I mean, I feel like Mattel's articulation is underrated. Really good with this figure. Just like we did with George the Animal Steele, we're going to run with all of these interchangeable heads on the figure body. So this is the original head that came on the figure. You have the screaming scan. And lastly, we have that cocky side smile scan. This is without a doubt my favorite head scan, but I will point out, I feel like it does sit a little high. I really tried to get it in there. Maybe just a smidge. It does sit a little higher and give him a little bit of that long neck, but I really love the scan. We have a few different figures here for your Piper comparisons. Don't forget, we do have that Monday Night Wars Ultimate figure coming in pretty soon. I'm going to be very happy to have add that to my collection. But this is what this Elite is supposed to emulate. I believe this was in the original Piper Elite that came with, was it the Bob Orton 2-pack? I don't even remember. This is a long time ago. He had the longer hair. I swapped the head out from the entrance crate. The shirt underneath is from the entrance crate. You will see he does have the Hot Rod shirt. That was a really tiny shirt. Even the belt underneath is the like fabric belt that I was talking about before versus this new molded plastic one. You can see the kilt here. This jacket I believe is from a Toy Biz figure, but this was supposed to simulate my WCW Piper. This will be cut once that new Ultimate Edition finally does hit. Next up, we have the Hall of Champions Piper, also the Hot Rod shirt with the red ringers around it. Looks a lot nicer, if you ask me, than this Coliseum Collection Ultimate. Just pops more, just what I picture traditional Piper. You'll see this one did have the molded kilt, which I was not a fan of. These three figures do have the same color boots and same look as the new Ultimate. On the right, we have the Legends Piper, obviously based off of a different era. He does have the black boots, and you can see the difference in the hair throughout the years. I'm sure many of you were curious to see how this Hall of Champions shirt looked like on the Ultimate, as was I, and I think this looks phenomenal. We'll get a quick close-up. To me, this just looks so much nicer than the regular shirt that we did get. I kind of wanted to continue the review with this shirt on, but if you are curious, if you do have the Hall of Champions Elite Roddy Piper, you can swap the shirt, and at least you'll get an official Mattel Hot Rod shirt with the red ringers. Before we move on, I don't know how I screwed this up, but I did. I just wanted to correct myself before you guys zonged me down in the comments below. This Piper is the Hall of Fame figure. I've been saying Hall of Champions, so if you do try to track it down, it is the Hall of Fame Target exclusive Roddy Piper. And I almost forgot to include this one. There's just so many Pipers we've gotten from Mattel. I do have the boxing Mr. Piper from WrestleMania 2. You can see the head sculpt is the same, but they did paint the hair a lot lighter on this figure. So I honestly like the Ultimate a little better, but if you guys wanted some comparisons between these two head sculpts, here they are. Tough to squeeze all these guys in here, but we do have all the major participants of the WrestleMania 1 main event. We have Roddy Piper. We have Cowboy Bob Orton, Mr. Wonderful here in the back. We have the Ultimate Edition Muhammad Ali, who was the ref. We have Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, and of course, Jimmy Superfly Snuka. If you guys are enjoying this video review, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And while you're at, turn on those notification bells to stay tuned to the newest action figure reviews here on my channel. I figured what a fun way to end this last segment of the video by including all of the Coliseum Collection Ultimate figures that we have received from Mattel Creations. So in the back, we have Series 1, which featured Terry Funk and Hulk Hogan. To the right of that, we have Jake the Snake Roberts and Rick Rude in Series 2. And we also do have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Sergeant Slaughter that came on that same carding, as well as Series 3, which featured George the Animal Steele and Roddy Piper. First off, I want to send a huge thank you again to Mattel for sending these my way to review and give you a close, in-depth look of these figures. As far as George the Animal Steele goes, I love it. This figure is pretty perfect. You get 3 interchangeable heads, the perfect amount of interchangeable hands. You get the cloth shirt, you get mine, you get the chewable turnbuckle, and the hair on the body looks so realistic. Kudos to Mattel. This came out phenomenal. I feel like you'll never need to buy another George the Animal Steele because this figure is perfect. Piper, I really do like it. I feel like he comes with a great amount of accessories. Love the kilt. I love the sculpted the belt that goes around it. I will say the shirt, I prefer the red ringer, so that is one gripe I'm going to have. The head scans all came out phenomenal. The one that I really do like the best with the side smirk, unfortunately, it does sit a little higher than I'd like it to on the body, but I definitely will be heading over to Mattel Creations and grabbing another set for my collection. Again, these will be available December 7th at Mattel Creations at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't sleep on these. Piper is phenomenal. I know we're getting another one with the Monday Night Wars Ultimates. Cannot wait to grab that, but these new figures here are well worth the purchase. They will be, I believe, $70 plus shipping and tax. So before you guys go, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at AlexWestCollects. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will catch you all on the next video review.